Hey guys, so with the holidays just a few days away, I wanted to kind of talk about grief and the holiday season can be really hard for people who've lost someone that they've loved, simply because it's a reminder. It's a reminder that they're not there, and that's really really tough. And it's so easy to want to run away and hide away during this time because it is such a big reminder of the people that aren't here with you. And so I just wanted to kind of talk to you for a little bit about that and to tell you to not run from it. Grief is something you just kind of have to lean into. I know it's uncomfortable, it's hard, and it's not anything anyone wants to have to do, but we have to lean into it. Running away from it won't accomplish anything. Matthew 5:4 tells us that blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. And I just wanted to share that with you because in it you will find comfort from the Lord if you reach out to Him. No one can tell you how to mourn or to grieve, and everyone does it differently. And so don't ever feel like you should have to do it this way or to do it that way, because sometimes we do when we're trying to appeal to other people. And you know, grief in its own right can be a little bit tricky because after a while, you know, you'll start to feel like you should already be over it, or you should be past this hump, you shouldn't be acting this way, or nobody wants to hear you talk about it anymore. So you start to clam up and you just push everything down and you don't want to talk about it. But that's really not healthy, and it's really not good for you. And a lot of times that perception is wrong. People usually aren't tired of hearing it. They know that you need to talk about it. So it's a lot better for your healing, and it's just a part of the healing process to really talk about it and mull over it and go over it. And even if you just find somebody that has lost someone that you feel that you can trust and talk with about it, it's really, really important. You don't want to seclude yourself and not talk to someone. The other thing too is that figuring out what your triggers are is super important, because a lot of times when we go through grief, we can start to feel very out of control. We get emotionally ambushed by grief. And what I mean by that is you'll be in a supermarket and the next thing you know, you're crying in the aisles and you just can't stop. So now not only have you been ambushed by grief, but you're also very embarrassed because you can't seem to turn off the waterworks. I know I'm very guilty of that. I've done that on several occasions. So this is really helpful, I know, for me. So for me, it's stuff like music. I'm a big music person, and words and just music in general bring lots of memories. And so that is pretty much the first thing that will ambush me. Or if I see somebody who looks familiar or looks similar to someone that I've loved and have lost. So that being said, whenever I do hear a song and I know that I just know that I'm going to start to feel that way, I try to find the bathroom, or just to give myself that moment to recollect. I may not even cry, but I've given myself some control back in that situation, and I haven't put myself out there to get embarrassed and everything else. I'm now regaining some control of my life. And so I would encourage you to do that in yours, to start to figure out what your triggers are so you don't feel like you're just a hot mess everywhere you go, because that can be even harder to deal with on top of everything else that you're already going through. I would love to tell you that grief goes away and that you'll feel 100% better as years go by, but I'd be lying to you, because it doesn't, but it does get easier. You do learn to move forward. I don't want to say move on, because I feel like that hole always be there, because no one will ever replace the person that you've loved. But you do learn to move forward with your life, and you stop. I know we think that we're just going to always feel this way and be down, but eventually you stop reaching for the phone to call the person that you love. You eventually quit seeing a shadow of them everywhere you go and in every face you see. And songs begin to start to make you smile instead of cry. And whenever you start to think about the person you love and that is gone now, your heart doesn't ache as bad. You know, you don't just feel this gut-wrenching ache that you just want to fall apart when you think about them. That begins to go away. I can tell you from the people that I've lost, now when I think of them, I do smile a lot more, and I'm not always crying about it, and I can chuckle and giggle about how goofy they were, and how silly things, you know, would get, or jokes that we had, and it doesn't always make me just fall apart. So Ecclesiastes 3:14, it reminds us, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. I really like this verse, especially when we're having emotional difficulties, because it really points out the fact that there's a season for everything in our lives, and that this is just a season. So don't make it into something that it's not. This is not going to be this way forever. You are not going to hurt this bad forever. Like I said, there will always be a part of you missing, but it gets easier. And so just remember that this is a season, and you have to lean into it. You just have to go through it, and that it's hard. And I'm not going to even kid you, like, it's hard. But find good support, find people that you can talk to and lean on. And if you feel like you don't have those people in your life, the Lord is always going to be there. He's always going to love you. He's always going to care for you. And don't hesitate to cry out to him. Be honest, be real, be raw. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell him exactly how you feel. Whether it's that you're angry, you feel abandoned, whatever it may be, you're just sad, you feel you have a hole, whatever it is for you, you just tell him and pour your heart out. Because I can guarantee you that you are not the first person to tell him that, and you won't be the last. It's not anything he hasn't heard before. So don't shortchange yourself in your relationship with the Lord by trying to guard yourself from him. Give it all away. Give everything away, so then he can begin to heal what's broken in you. I think some of my most intimate moments with the Lord have been when I have just been at my weakest points in my life, and when I have just been in my pits of despair, because that's when I could truly feel him with me, and I could truly feel his comfort and feel his love and feel him walking with me in my life. I could see evidence of him everywhere that I was, because my guards were down, everything was down, and I knew I couldn't do it on my own. So I leaned on him more in those moments than I think I do in any other time in my life. Psalms 34 verse 18 tells us that the Lord is near the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalms 147 verse 3 tells us that he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And that's exactly why I'm telling you to go to him, because as somebody who cares for you, or I wouldn't do these videos, I can tell you that I can't heal those wounds. I can't bind up what's broken. I can't do any of that. All I can do is come to you and tell you who can, and hope that you reach out to him and that you would lean on him, and so you can start to find that healing. And I really do pray that you do. And my other prayer for you guys for this season is that you don't seclude yourself. It is so easy, like I said, to want to just retreat inside yourself, not talk about things, and just pretend that you're all right and put on that face. But don't do that. You're not helping anybody, and you're not helping yourself. So get yourself out there, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's hard, and start to just go through the motions. Start praying to God that he'd ask you how to go through those motions, where to start, and that he would show you what you need to do to bring healing for yourself. My last verse that I would like to share with you is Matthew 11 verse 28 through 30. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. As the holidays go on, guys, I pray for myself, and I pray for you guys that you will have strength through this season, and that you will be comforted, and that the Lord will begin to shed some light on a really dark time for you. And I hope that this message reached you right where you need it. So definitely comment below anything that you'd like to share. I'd love to hear from you, anything you liked, you disliked, or anything you'd like to hear me talk about in the future. So God bless. I won't see you till the new year, and I hope everybody's safe and you make good choices. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.